if you want your child to eat a particular thing, you got to model it as well. Okay.
I've got to eat Karela.
Yes, why not? I
But
mean,
Karela is yum.
it's yum. Trust
Oh
me.
my
Okay, I'll
God.
tell you a tip here.
Speaking about moderation, this is another point of conflict that I have with my husband. Sugar.
Oh,
The
that's a
big-
beast.
The
Oh.
beast,
I think
the
that's
devil.
In everyone's homes, yeah.
The axe that's going to fall on you right now.
But she knows what's right and what's wrong, right? She
How?
won't. It's because when you educate them around it, right? Educating them around food is what is important. See, protein are the building blocks of your body, okay? As adults, we tend to eat mindlessly.
Mama. Mama.
Please stop. Welcome to the Motherlords. Hello, welcome back to the Motherlords, the podcast where we talk about the everyday joys and the chaos and the meltdowns and all of the good things that comes with parenting. Today, we're joined by someone very, very special because, let's face it, we all go through food struggles at home. At least, I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm battling my children every single day where food is concerned.
I mean, yeah, we just did a whole episode about it. Which,
Exactly.
and those were the problems. And now we need the solutions.
Exactly. And that's why we're joined by an expert, Divisha Jadhwani. She is a baby and child nutritionist. And along with me, I have my fellow hosts here. I'm Hina, mom to twin boys who are 5 years.
I'm Alicia, mom to a 5-year-old girl and a 2-year-old boy.
And I'm Ria, home too.
You are their home.
I'm Ria, mom to 2 girls who are 5 and 2.
Hi, and I'm Divisha. I'm a child nutritionist and a mom to a 4.5-year-old toddler who's also my grandmother, I feel, or my mother-in-law. I'm not quite sure on that one. But yes, I'm here to guide you and burst some myths around food and what you can include as a part of a diet and what you cannot include but can include in moderation. So let's get started.
I wish, Divisha, you would be in my head every single day,
I
giving
wish
me
I
all
could
of your amazing...
Take you home with me.
Yeah. And hopefully all of you will also feel that towards the end of the episode because Divisha is here to give us a lot of guidance, a lot of it's okay kind of moments, as well where food
And
is concerned.
Yeah.
we promise we'll give you all her contact details, but just don't call her 24/7.
Yeah.
Give us space, guys. Give us space.
Yeah.
Okay, Divisha, welcome. So excited to learn everything from you. So to start with, we are all now mums and we're in nuclear families, most of us, I think. And we don't have our mums or mum-in-laws or just an elder person in the house right there to tell us this is good or this is not good or in this season this is what you should be eating, because there are foods like that face it, are great for your body in the moment or not. So, I mean, how do we think about nutrition through food for our children, that right off the bat?
Correct. So, firstly, thank you for having me here. Let's flip this thing. We often look at food on as to what to give and what not to give. But let's focus. What exactly does food do? Food is something which growing children need as a source of nourishment. It's a source of nourishment. It's a source of protein. It's a source of something which helps them grow. It's not just that we have to include this as a part of their diet or exclude this as a part of their diet. It's something that we need to give them to nourish their bodies, help them with the brain development, help them with, something that fuels up their entire day and charges them up. So let's flip it the other way around and look at food this way, right? I often come across parents asking me, should we include this? Should we include that? Well, the food that we as Indian eats are nourishing foods in itself, so we don't really need to focus. Moderation is key. Start with, balancing meals. Start with giving them veggies, fruits, build in color, texture, flavors. And that's how they will take food as a core memory for them, a culture for them, and a tradition, and not just something which they have to do as a task. The problem is that most kids relate to eating in itself as a task. Let's build around that and, let them sit and explore the food rather than we making it sound like a task for them to do. So
Yeah.
exposure is important, but also how you expose it is equally important. And as we go around, with the questions ahead, I will touch base on this more and more.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, great.
that sounds really wise.
Because I was going to ask a follow-up question, but then I won't now.
You can.
Oh, I can. Okay.
Yeah.
So can you give us an example of how we could make it fun and expose it in a fun way? Like,
Okay,
how you said
so
make it.
firstly and most importantly is modeling behavior. Most times we forget that. If you want your child to eat a particular thing, you got to model it as well. Okay.
I've got to eat Karela.
Yes, why not? I
But
mean,
Karela is yum.
it's yum. Trust
Oh
me.
my
Okay, I'll
God.
tell you a tip here. While I'm supposed to share tips much later, but I'm going to give you a tip. So if you de-seed a Karela, peel it thoroughly, and you soak it in salt water.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And then you squeeze it out. It's not that
It's
bitter.
not that
Okay. And then, mind you, this is a recipe. Then you fry that Karela, fry some cashews, fry some raisins, and then mix it all together. Put some chaat masala. Believe me, you will start loving Karela. I'm not
Really?
kidding.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
try
also
it.
you said fry a lot.
That's okay.
It's okay.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Use
Okay,
fresh
wait.
oil. Use fresh
I
oil
need to,
fry.
I need to give I need to make a special mention for my husband to please listen to this episode and to please make sure that he is, taking all these tips so that he doesn't yell at me later.
And talking about frying, and I also want to bring something up because I feel like I have this debate with my husband at home.
Yeah.
So I put a little bit of ghee on my kids' rice every day, right? They have ghee on their roti, they have ghee on rice, but it's not like I'm shoving a tub of ghee down their bodies, right? Is that bad? Because there's so much information, and I know you said things in moderation, but there's so much information about good fat and bad fat and, this and that.
And
Talk to us-
fat in
yeah, just
general.
fat
Yeah.
in general, right? People have this like huge aversion
Because
to
of your
fat.
own, I think.
Is it okay? How much of it is okay?
Yeah.
One teaspoon of ghee is a thumb rule for toddlers. It's a great source of good fat plus byrate. It helps with bowel movements, keeps their, we look at moisturizing the skin and we're looking at skin products and stuff, but ghee in itself, like, gets into your body and moisturizes your body, and it's soul food. We've all grown up
with it.
eating
Yeah.
food
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
ghee, right? It's so much better than using refined oils. Yes, cold press oils are great, but they cannot be used at high temperatures, right?
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that ghee is added in their food. You can cook in ghee, you can add a spoon of ghee. Just do it in moderation. What's happening today with parents is when they see kids not eating, they'll put like a big tablespoon of ghee in their food. That's not right, guys. You've got to be mindful in how much of what you are offering, So when we look at ghee, it is a good fat. Please include it and use the thumb rule of 1 teaspoon of ghee in their food every day, every meal. That can be done.
And you would recommend ghee over other fats?
Much better.
Yeah.
Yes. The new fats have just come in, right? All this fad of coconut oil, peanut oil, mustard oils. Yes, they have been something which we've been using as a part of your diet, as a part of our Indian cookings as well. But nothing beats ghee. Like, ghee is divine.
I
What
don't,
about
My daughter is going to be so happy to
Yeah.
hear this. She eats a spoon of ghee at every meal.
And do that. We talk about starting our day with fat, and we could do that with toddlers as well. We could do that with a 4-year-old or a 1-year-old as well. Start their day with fat and ghee. Just
And what's
warm
the
it up a
benefit of
little
that?
bit. The benefit is that it helps you One, it keeps you charged up and gives you all the energy that you need in the day. It helps with your bowel movements, keeping your digestion intact. And also it fuels up your body and soul. It's such a soulful thing.
this is what she said, like the grandmother that needs to be there in our house.
Exactly.
Telling us.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
wisdom.
So
The
The
wisdom
wisdom.
of our parents.
the thing is that unfortunately the wisdom that we get from the in-laws and everyone also is like overdoing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we start judging and start sort of fighting and
Wondering and-
having these battles internally at homes as well.
Correct.
So it's important that we don't have these battles and rather do things in moderation and not be like, we just don't want to do ghee. Of course, if your baby is lactose intolerant or has any dietary restrictions, then it's different.
Oh.
But otherwise, please go ahead
fact,
and include ghee.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you in terms of good fats, right? You talked about ghee. What if some child cannot have ghee? Can you give us some other sources of good fats?
Coconut oil is a great source, and of course your nut butters. I make nut butters; they are yummy. But
They are
in
yummy.
general,
Oh my
I have
God,
tried
they're
them.
so
They're
good.
delicious.
in general,
You need to
nut
give us
butters.
I
links
love
for
nut
those as
butter.
well.
Yes,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
will. But, again, nuts, again, in the right amounts, because nowadays there's this whole conflict and, nuts can't be eaten in summers. Nuts, they have to be soaked. Yes, they have to be soaked because that helps in better absorption of the minerals. So, you use the right kind of nuts, use unsweetened nut butters, use nut powders. You can make them at home, guys. It's not, a lot of brands today are coming up with nut powders and they're claiming it to be, XYZ, but you can just simply roast some nuts at home and then you can just grind it and use that in different foods. How to up the nutrition in food is through these nut powders and nut butters. Add a spoonful of it along with your ghee in a dal, in a rice. A peanut butter and toast in the morning is a great source of breakfast for your baby. So it's very, very important to use the right things at the right time and in moderation. So your nut butters, your coconut oil, ghee are great.
Speaking about moderation, this is another point of conflict that I have with my husband. Sugar.
Oh,
The
that's a
big-
beast.
The
Oh.
beast,
I think
the
that's
devil.
In everyone's homes, yeah.
The axe that's going to fall on you right now. So my husband is okay. So let me give you a little bit of a background to what I do. Is I don't do anything. I have no boundaries with sugar, right? Because in my opinion, I feel like once you start holding boundaries with sweets, then the kids want them even more.
Of
It's a
course.
forbidden fruit.
It's a forbidden
Yes.
fruit, and it becomes very attractive for them.
Correct.
And my husband is constantly going on at me about how I should control it and I should maintain it. It becomes very stressful for me and him, and then on the kids. So how much sugar is okay? Are there what about the sugar substitutes that people are saying we should use now? Like, I don't know, monk fruit. What is monk fruit?
Yes,
Please,
it is.
please elaborate.
Okay, so sugar isn't evil. Okay? It's the excess amount of sugar and the overdoing again that we do.
Yes.
Okay, now things like jaggery, date sugars, of course they have better minerals than sugar, but it's sugar, so we have to have that moderation. Okay, now the thing around sugar is that we're always guilty because a lot of us have grown up eating sugar, right? So then we don't want to pass that guilt down to our kids.
Yes.
What we do is, or like what I do rather with my own child, is that over the weekends, she has to, have sugar. She can have as much, whatever she likes, but she knows what's right and what's wrong, right? She
How?
won't. It's because when you educate them around it, right? Educating them around food is what is important. We don't want to put restrictions in place and make the broccoli as the villain and sugar as the hero. That's what we end up doing most times. Build up a dessert along with a meal. That's fine. Let them look at it as a treat along with the meal. If you see a thali of food, it always has a sweet,
Yeah.
right? Not because of anything else, but because when it's a part of your meal, you don't crave it too much. Whereas when you actually stop it, then you keep constantly craving it. And that's where children feel that, okay, fine, this is something that I'm not allowed. So at any given opportunity that I get to eat it, I should eat it and I must eat it.
And binge eat it.
And binge
binge
eat it.
eat it.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that's what leads to obesity. That's what, causes that relationship with food to sort of have that imbalance and be like, okay, today I can eat a sugar or today I have to go for a birthday party. We've said we need to talk about boundaries to children on when they can have it and when they cannot. A lot of parents today look at sugar as evil. It's not, because, if you do it in moderation, it's fine. Even on birthdays, parents are like, no, you can't have a cake. Why not? Why are we taking that childhood away from them? It's okay if they eat it. Like if Mahima eats sugar at a birthday and she's conscious of what she's eating, she comes back to me and says that, okay, you know what? I ate cake on a Thursday, so maybe I may not eat something on a Saturday and eat it on a Sunday. For her, we've always told her that on Sundays when you can eat chocolates. I don't want to stop her from eating it on
Yeah.
any other day of the week. But if she does, she is mindful herself because I've had that talk to her
Yeah.
what it is. It's not something that we need on a daily basis. But if you do tend to include it as a part of your diet, as a meal in itself, it's fine.
And to remove the
Remove
build
that
up
fear.
around it.
Yes,
Like the
exactly.
the oh my God, it's like you absolutely cannot have it and then they must have it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
reach that point,
Because
right?
I
Tell me
actually-
something. When
this
you say
is-
moderation, what is moderation? Is it something that you can they should probably only have on the weekends, or maybe one sweet thing a day is okay?
I mean, once let's understand, okay, we're somewhere every day giving them some sort of packaged food, right? It could be in the form of crackers, it could be in the form of chips, it could be in the form of, whatever these puffs and everything that you get, unless it's you're roasting makhanas and giving it, or roasting kurmuras, then your children are God. Please tell me also how y'all did it. But what I mean to say is, if you are doing packaged foods, they have sugar.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's sugar. You're giving them sugar on a daily basis, right? We don't want to just always be like, don't eat this, don't eat that, right?
Yeah.
Even brands which are healthy, and there are brands, I'm not going to name them, but there are brands who are clean. But there is some amount of jaggery in it. There is
Yeah.
some amount of dates in it, which is fine. They are sugar alternates because they have better minerals than sugar. So if you're doing one date a day, that's sugar.
Yeah.
Like
if you're
when
doing
people,
a honey butter toast, that's sugar.
That's
Exactly.
sugar.
Yeah.
So honey, maple, they're all like sugar.
Are you
So
listening?
it's just that
Are you
better.
Are you listening? Yeah.
They're
This is
just
for
better
Karan.
minerals, right? But again, don't fight it out in such a way. Talk to your children about it, because it's not something that they need daily. Unfortunately, it happens daily because of, the dry
Whatever.
snacks, etc., that we do. But again, moderation, when I say, it's like, yes, probably if you're eating a cake, you don't need like a big, huge slice of an opera cake, but maybe like a few bites of it, just to feel that satiation is satisfied. And you feel like, okay, this is, I'm done for the week.
But can I tell you what I did the other day, which was really cool, and I feel very proud of myself, and I also want to give like self-validation right now. I came home and I wanted to eat some cake which was left over from my daughter's birthday. So I cut a slice and I kept it on the table, and then I went to give one of the kids a bath. And my daughter comes up from the garden and she sees that slice of cake on the table, and she comes to the bathroom and she's like, "Mama, what's that on the table?" I was like, "Oh, it's some cake." And she's like, "Oh, who's it for?" So I was like, We can all share it, it's just there. I was lying in the fridge, so I got it out." She's like, "Okay, maybe I'll have it after dinner." So I said, "Yeah, sure, go for it. Like, I'll keep it on the table. You can have it whenever you want." And we ate dinner. The cake was still on the table. She got full. She's like, "Oh, I'm too full right now. I'll have it later." I was like, "Okay." And they got up, they went inside, they brushed their teeth, they did their night routine, and they went to sleep, and they forgot all about the cake. But it was right in front of them the entire time.
Exactly. And that's what
It
we
was
need to do,
accessible.
because you built it along with the meal, right?
Yeah.
That's what we need to do. We are constantly focusing on taking things away from the child, taking away their childhood. I mean, we've grown up drinking chocolate
Coca-Cola.
milk. I'm not going to name the brand, but we've grown up drinking chocolate milk for 25 years of my own life, till I actually became intolerant to milk. I had that in the morning because
Yeah.
I couldn't do tea, coffee. So I was like, I've grown up with it. Why am I supposed to restrict something? Yes, I will restrict it. Cacao is a better alternative. Carob is a better alternative to chocolate. But you can't really do that every day, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they taste awful.
Yeah.
Right?
Poor
So-
things.
So you have to look at giving the right substitutes, the right alternates, and build it. Don't make it the villain. The problem is we make it as a villain and make it sound like one.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Made me
let's
feel
go
very
easy.
validated today. I'm just going to preen a little bit.
Great. That's actually really helpful. But so one other thing now that everyone's talking about, it's such a topic today, right? Protein. How much protein are you eating? How much are you getting in every meal? At least adults are doing it. And now we're also talking about in terms of how much of it our children are getting. So, and it's important. It is important, right? It fuels their brain and their bones and their body. So how do we know what is the right amount to give? Do we, does it have to be at every meal?
Correct.
And then, because for me, I realize that it's so important to start with it because of something
Yeah.
Hina told me
Correct.
that, just instead of cereal, start the kid's day with an egg and you will see a difference in their mood. And it really, like the days they eat an egg in the morning, they are different kids in the afternoon. They really
Yes,
are.
of course. See, protein are the building blocks of your body. Okay. As adults, we tend to eat mindlessly. Okay. We don't focus on what we need. And as adults, we end up needing protein supplements because we are not focusing on what we are eating. Food for adults has become like, okay, fine, whatever is there on the plate, whatever is convenient, let's just sit down, let's just eat that. And that's about it. And then in the end of the day, after a workout or before a workout, have a protein shake. Well, because we don't know any other way of sitting down and calmly eating our food. For kids, protein is again very essential for their overall growth and development. It's the building blocks. Do you know, and you'll be surprised to know rather, it's 1 gram of protein that they need for like an entire meal. So which is like if they're 15 kgs, they need 15 grams of protein. So it's
So what
that
has
simple.
15 grams of protein that I can
You
throw in my
have to
kid every
combine
day?
it. You have eggs, you have chicken, you have nut powders, nut butters, you have your dals, your hummus. That's like combine it with a nice pulse along with it. That's about it. That's where your protein is. And once you start their day with protein, they have enough energy to sustain through the day. They don't feel tired. Like I was talking to you all, I have made it a rule that my daughter needs to have protein because otherwise there was this phase and we did, so she had her summer break going on and we did swimming lessons for her because I really wanted her to learn how to swim. And of course, it requires your entire body to be
Yeah.
thrown in. You're like really, even if it's like a 45-minute session, you need that much
Yeah.
energy, right? So she was constantly coming back saying, my legs are paining. Every night I was using some, calming balms on her leg and oil massages and stuff, but it was still not helping because she had gone on this phase that I don't want to eat eggs. So I said, okay, fine. I gave her that space. When she started eating egg and then going for a swim lesson, not only did she swim better, but she didn't have these pains, right? Because growing pains in this age group are very, very normal. And that's where giving them the right amount of protein is essential. We don't have to go over and above thinking on what we need to be doing in terms of protein. Just build in your dals with a pulse. That's great. Build in your chole again with a roti, protein and carb. Because of protein taking the show, carb is now like the bad thing. No, kids again need carb as well. Good carbs are very essential for their growth. And similarly, eggs, like you said, to start off their day or once in the day, one egg in a day does no harm, irrespective of whatever weather you are in, because a lot of times parents come back asking me that, it's summertime, can we give an egg? Yes, you can give an egg. It is essential for them to eat one egg a day. You can go up to 2 eggs a day as well. So, if your kids are eating egg, your protein requirement is sorted. Chicken is there, fish is there. Look at all of these things. Apart from, starting your day with egg, look at moong dal chilas. Look at...
Yeah, I was just going to ask you a veg
yes,
substitute for.
so moong dal chilas, chia seed pudding, chia seeds are a powerhouse of protein. Build it with a Greek yogurt, and Greek yogurt, again, let's not get fussy about getting it from outside. Greek yogurt is nothing but your hung curd.
Yeah.
Just tie it in a muslin cloth, because a lot of times, again, people are like, which brand of Greek yogurt should be used? It's packaged food. Avoid it, guys. Look at what it is. Greek yogurt is hung curd. Just mix the two together, top it up with a fruit. You have such a wholesome breakfast in the
You
morning.
can top it with some nut butter or some
Yes,
nuts.
top it with
and-
some nut butter, top it with some nut powder, some fruit. You don't even need the extra sugar in it, So
breakfast of champions.
exactly, it's literally the breakfast of champions. You
My
can
mouth is watering this entire
That's my
episode. Like,
breakfast every day.
I
I do
know.
chia seeds and green Greek
no
yogurt.
wonder you're such a paddle beast. But literally, like, even the Karela recipe that she gave, my
Yeah.
mouth was watering and I
Yeah.
didn't even know why. I hate Karela.
My nanny makes this Karela sabji.
It's yum.
It's so
It's
yum.
yum.
So, is too much protein bad?
Yes, it
Okay.
can have side effects in the long run.
Or, like, can it lead to the kids not retrieving their energy? Because my kids never seem to be, like, out of energy.
No, but that's a good question. When can healthy eating or balance, like when does it become an unhealthy obsession?
So when food starts becoming anxiety, when you are constantly looking at what to cut and what to include and what not to give, that is where we lose our boundary. That is where we go from food nourishing us to food constantly being like a battle in our head. And that's where the picky eating, the overeating, this whole thing of sort of, unnecessary zooming out on food groups comes in the picture. So once you start doing that, once you like overdo it, it becomes a cause of concern because then you're not able to connect to food. You're then just looking at food as a fear and not a joy.
Yeah.
Food is supposed to bring joy.
All my memories of food are happy memories.
Exactly.
And I don't know, a really good friend of mine told me the other day, food is not an event.
Exactly.
Just come
No,
to the table and enjoy your meal.
enjoy your
And
meal.
if your kid sees you doing that, they will start.
Absolutely.
So at this age, would it be good to like explain to them what the foods are doing to your body and how it's
Absolutely.
helping
Yeah.
you? And
Absolutely.
it's okay if you're a little overweight, it's okay if you're too thin, but you're becoming stronger, you're becoming smarter, you're becoming faster.
So we need to stop labeling fat and shit, thin. What I mean
Yeah.
to say is,
No, you're saying because they
yes,
come to you.
because they come to us. It's one thing that I remember. And I was someone who was a little on the healthier side as well. And someone once told me that round is also a shape, and that's what stuck with me. And I was like, yes, it is a shape. So when I've had my own moments, I'm like, that's fine. Uh, let's stop labeling kids. Let's teach them about food. Let's talk to them about each food group, and then see the difference.
Yeah.
Bring that mindfulness in.
Yeah.
Our parents did that with us. I remember I have grown up eating all sorts of vegetables, be it a karela or a toru or a tinda or anything else. I've literally grown up eating all of it. I'm open to trying food. And that's what I see in my daughter. I was worried because my husband is a picky eater. For him, paneer, aloo and dal is life. So
I feel like I'm looking in a mirror.
yeah. So my biggest fear and challenge was that my daughter should eat everything. And believe me, this picky eater husband of mine now eats avocados, now eats edamame, now eats tofu. So I'm like, great, it's a win-win situation for us because
You're eating him also.
Exactly. I mean, along with her, he started eating as well.
Mm.
So, a lot of my friends who were like, we don't like Thai curries or we don't like this, they're like, oh, you know what, she eats it. Let's eat it with them. So it's all combined together. I can go on and on.
Yeah, because you find a lot
Because-
of mums and stuff who are doing these ways of hiding vegetables in the like foods, like giving the kids
We've
pav
all
bhat.
done that, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but like, isn't it better to educate them rather than hide it and give it to them?
The thing is that when we're looking at these things of hiding it, are we eating it? Like I eat bengan, so my daughter eats bengan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If I eat something, she's curious to try it. Exposure is more
Is key.
important.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I've noticed this a lot. So there are now, my daughter and me eat lunch together in the afternoons because she's home for the summer. So while we're eating, she may not want to try all the vegetables, but she'll see it on my plate and I'll just, I dip my chapati in the bharta or I'll dip my chapati in the dudhi and be like, do you want to just try it? And sometimes she'll say no, sometimes she'll say yes. So when she says yes, she'll sometimes do this and sometimes she'll do this.
Oh.
So
Oh my God, I thought this was only happening with Mahima because the new thing she started. Okay, validation level max. That is.
Yeah, it's like you're rating me. Zomato.
I thought it was
Instant market.
I love the
Literally
fact. Love the fact that she's sitting next to me and even trying it. And okay, if you like it, great. Don't like it, don't eat it.
Exactly, and you can always give it to them the other time around, and you can just like I sometimes I said, you had said this. I remember you said. She's like, no, but I had said no. I said no, but you had said this. I'm like, okay, now
Ways
it
to
was there.
trick your toddler.
You'd rather trick them like that rather than hiding vegetables.
Yeah.
Hiding vegetables is great. Okay, at
I
some
hide in
point.
paratha.
But see, the thing is, kitna time you'll hide.
Kitna time.
The thing, what we forget is that it has to be on the plate for them to understand.
Understand.
It has to be
But
separate.
talking about this whole picky eating and trying new things, and I get that, model it yourself. But what if you have? So I have two children. They're twins, and they're so different from each other. One is an explorer, and he'll try everything, and he doesn't have a problem with tasting new things. We go to a new place, and the other one I see that is just so shut off to trying anything new. How can I change that perspective?
So again, firstly, respect their differences. Very important. With two kids or twins, it's always going to be the case where one child would love it, one child may not like it, but you're not running a restaurant, so you can't possibly cook separately. So I always tell parents to use this trick because they're like, older one is a fussy eater. We need it sorted for the younger one. Like, okay, tell the older one that, they look up to you and do that and tell them that, okay, fine, whatever you eat is what your brother and sister will eat. Again, exposing more than imposing, and also important to model the behavior. Sit down and eat. If one child is not eating or not open to trying it, our first instinct is, kuch aur manga do, ye to wo nahi khayega.
Yeah.
Give it time,
Yeah.
that exposure multiple times, or even if they try a few, like say for instance, if your child doesn't like a pizza, I mean, there's no child like that, but if suppose your child doesn't like a pizza,
Bhindi on
You
a pizza,
don't-
maybe.
This is how you get your child to not like
Questionable,
pizza.
yeah. Put bhindi on it.
so
Adi will love it.
This
Sorry.
is true. My younger one will eat anything, but he's not a big fan of pizza, but he is a big fan of bhindi.
so the thing is, ask them what they like, give them options, tell them that this is on the menu, and if they want to change it, they got to let you know now. You can't get up and cook something. So, as a policy in my house, Mahima decides dinner. She tells us what she wants to eat, and the whole family eats that. That's about it. It's a very simple rule. There are days when I'm sleeping in the morning, she'll tell the cook what needs to be made for breakfast.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So,
But I
send her to
started
train
doing
my
this
kids.
with my daughter, and it has made a world of a difference. Or I'll
Absolutely.
just give her a choice. I'll say, do you want to have a sandwich or a roll in your dabba? And for dinner also, I'll ask her, do you want to have chicken curry with rice? Do you want to have chicken curry with chapati? Or do you want to just eat something else? And she will say it. And now 9 out of 10 times, she's eating it.
Exactly. And they eat it happily.
Happily.
Because
They've chosen it.
they've chosen it, and the onus is on them now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now then they feel like, oh, we've said it. So if Mahima comes and tells me that I don't want to eat this, I'll be like, boss, you decided
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You decided it. This is what the food
But you
is.
know,
Ab
this
to
is-
khana hi hai.
Another thing is that my kids are the opposite, okay? Like, my kids are not picky eaters. They love food. They love every kind of food.
Eating is not the problem.
Eating is not the problem. So I use food as a reward or a punishment, Sometimes I'm guilty of it. Like, I'll throw Kit Kats at them, or I'll be like, okay, you don't get if you go to school and leave the house with a smile on your face, I'll give you a biscuit for the ride to school.
You
Don't
We've all
judge me
done
for
that.
Nobody's
We've
judging
all
you.
done
We've
that.
all
Yeah.
There's a
bribed.
bribe.
Come on.
We've all.
I bribed my kids today because I had to get out of the house to come shoot this, and they were having a meltdown. So I used your strategy. I threw a Kit Kat at them.
I put chocolate in my own coffee this morning. It's sitting behind. But what is is that how good or bad is that? Like,
So let's accept
It's
it.
so
We've
easy to
all
do.
done it, right? I've done it too.
Guilty.
I mean, guilty
Yeah.
is charged, but I've done it. I mean, just because she's a daughter of a nutritionist doesn't mean I'm not a human myself.
you are a human being. It's
I
good to
am
know.
human.
She's
Like,
a
just
superhuman
last
and you're
week-
just a human.
Last week she didn't do swimming 2 days. I told her, I said, if you don't go, I will not give you brownie. This brownie were quinoa brownies, but I was like, but I used it. But it's not the right thing to do on a regular basis
once in
because
a while.
then they look at the food morality changes completely. Then you're looking at it as a battleground with them. So it's the wrong thing, to be honest, if I have to accept it. You can't do it every day. That's when, answering your previous question, that's when food becomes a
Comfort.
different comfort, a different type of comfort than the comfort it actually needs to provide. So occasionally doing all these things, we are mothers, we need faster tactics. We've seen our mothers do it, probably their mothers did it. So it's a very simple tactic to be like, kha lo ye. If you do this, I'll do that for you. But don't use it that way. It's not the right thing to do, right? It is not something that is a long-term strategic solution because there are meltdowns, there are tantrums, there are reasons for not doing things, may need some validation more than food. And then the food
Yeah,
morality
man.
changes.
All this should be a topic of education in universities or schools or
It
something
should.
like
It should be.
the psychology of raising children.
It literally, so I've studied child psychology, I've done neurolinguistic programming, and believe me, food has a major role to play. What you eat in a day sets your tone for the entire day. And that's the reason why they say moderation and not overdoing things. Why do people not, start off their day with the fruit? I highly discourage that. Empty stomach, people think that starting your day with the fruit is a great thing. It's spiking up your blood sugar
Yeah.
levels. It's a different ball game altogether when you started with a fat and then a protein and then build in a fruit. So that's the conversation that we need to have around food with our kids, because that's what's missing, that's what's lacking, and that's something which we really need to start working on, right? Because that's when we as mothers will focus on quality food than quantity food ourselves, which is what is missing today,
Yeah,
and
because
it's not just food,
they all
it's
have different
also, yeah, exactly. And it's not just food. We focus so much on food that we forget on hydration. We forget on sleep. We forget on, other aspects like playtime.
But okay, on a serious note though, I know you spoke earlier about how, we can't feel like we're running a restaurant at home, making different, but I am doing that maybe 5 out of 7 times a week because my husband's vegetarian. My kids eat a lot of meat and a lot of other stuff. But, I constantly feel, and I know Hina's also said this, where we feel like we're churning out different foods for everyone on a daily basis. It's not sustainable.
So it is not sustainable. Absolutely not.
So how to
So
get
what do you
around
do is
something like
you have one base meal. It could be as simple as a khichdi. Okay, and add options, add toppings. If your husband's a vegetarian, build in a paneer. If your kids eat egg, build in an egg along with the khichdi. Or, have like things, simple things, like even if it's a khakra, or even if it's, something like to get that crunch in, or a salad on the side. That's what you can do. You
yeah, I'm
can't
constantly
keep.
thinking what is pairing well with this in terms of veg and non-veg.
You can have one base meal per family member every day, and then top it up. Build in the add-ons.
That's a good idea.
Build in what you can build along with it. It could be anything. It could be a salad. It could be chicken. It could be egg. It could be paneer. It could be anything. Build that in. That's what is important.
Do you come in an AI version?
I think I want to. I'm
It's like, right, what should I cook for my family today
Yeah.
with
Divisha.
different topping options?
I
Today
really
I'm
like this
making-
khichdi bowl because the
Yeah.
other day my kids hate khichdi. I think it's because I have given them so much khichdi. One of them came back to me and said, I'm allergic to khichdi. I said, oh, really?
But now
That's
we call
new.
khichdi kanji. And they
Oh
just-
yeah, konji.
Yeah.
You just
So
zhuzhed it up.
Let's zhuzhed it up.
Yeah.
So similarly, even if you set like one base meal and then keep rotating the base meals and then add some toppings on top, which everyone likes, that's how you pair it, right? And get everyone in the family involved to build a menu. I used to do this thing where I used to take this task on me every Sunday night and be like, meal plan for the week. I would do it for 3 weeks straight and then I'd be like, I can't do it anymore. It's too much of thinking.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
So
total
then I
fatigue.
started getting everyone together and being like, okay, give me options.
Mm.
So today Mahima stands and she writes on the fridge and she'll be like, okay, today this, tomorrow that. Obviously the spellings are haywire, but she remembers it and then she says, right? So then they know it's there. And if they want to change something, then that change happens on the spot, So everyone's involved, everyone knows what's happening. And it's a game changer, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
meal prepping and planning really helps in this thing of,
Yeah.
bringing everybody to eat the same thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's very,
I
very
think I
important.
started doing that thanks to you. Every Sunday I sit with the kids while they're eating dinner and I ask them for the week
What they want.
What do
I
you
started
want?
doing
What do you
it
do?
thanks to a friend of mine was just like, we were pulling our hair out and what do we do because the girls are not eating. And she was like, I just got my daughter to sit and we
Yeah.
drew out a menu for the week and we stuck it on the fridge. And then she started going into the kitchen and telling the cook. And I was like, okay, let me try that. And it really...
It's game changing.
It's a
Yeah.
game changer. No, but okay, so enlighten us a little more though. So we've spoken about like food and how we eat it and what's important. But food is also like beyond nourishing your soul and your body. A lot of food also gives you immunity, right? In different seasons. So can you tell us a little more about that?
And I'll also sort of club that with my question on this. There's so many superfoods, right?
Correct.
Does that also help? And what are superfoods?
Yeah.
How do we incorporate that?
So the food that we eat on a regular base as Indians is superfood. Your dal, rice, sabzi is a superfood. Pairing it up with that ghee and that tadka and the ginger and the garlic helps you with your immunity,
Mm.
right? The sabzi adds fiber. The ghee adds fat. The tadka adds flavor. That's your superfood. That's your food which helps you build immunity. But if I have to break it down, and I'm going to read this through, okay? Focus on vitamin C. Add a few drops of lime to your food. Helps with better iron absorption because again, iron is a mineral which we sort of always think that you need a supplement for or you need to include a particular food as a part of your diet, etc. But if you just simply add a few drops of lime or add amla in chutneys, in dals, kokum, it's something which
So
I don't know
yum.
if everyone
I love
uses it,
Khatti
but
dal.
yeah, it's so good. It's like, add in kokum, imli, add that, your imli chutneys are actually adding a lot of, vitamin C to your food and help with better iron absorption. Protein, as I mentioned, very, very important, building blocks. One mineral which we often have overlooked is zinc, and that leads to a lot of deficiencies as well, which also causes, picky eating and stuff.
So what is zinc in?
Zinc is there in your seeds, in your lentils, in your eggs. Pumpkin seeds are the best sources of zinc. Every day, 1 to 2 tablespoons of pumpkin seeds, roasted pumpkin seeds, not like overly salted. Sometimes salt is okay. But again, pumpkin seeds as a part of your little one's diet are great.
Really? I had no idea.
Yes, they're like the best source of zinc.
Nice.
So build that in. Again, probiotics, curd, idli, dosas, fermented ones, of course, are great superfoods and great immunity boosting foods. And most importantly, the golden trio of haldi, black pepper, and honey. It is something which is game changing,
Yeah.
Especially when you have cold and cough. That's something that I remember eating as a kid. Today, I also do mulethi, which is licorice. You add licorice and honey, and trust me, it's game changing given the current environment that we are living in, rather, with the AQI levels. It's so good for your throat, so good for cold and cough. It's literally something which helps with your overall immunity building as well.
So how would you have it? You would just make a spoon of
Just take a teaspoon of honey,
Huh.
add like half or less than half a teaspoon of licorice to it, which is mulethi powder. Mix it and just have it as is.
and your kids can have this every day?
Yes, especially when they have a cold and cough. So
Okay.
do it for a span of like 2 weeks till it settles. These are things which are long forgotten. Millets, I can't emphasize so much. We've gone to focusing on things like quinoa and couscous and barley, whereas millets are so local, so like such great superfoods, like you were asking, that we can include as a part of their diet. Ghee, which is there, again, I've touched upon it and I can't emphasize enough upon it. Ghee is a great fat to be included. Don't get obsessed with all these things like moringa powders and this. Moringa is drumsticks. I've been eating drumsticks since I was a kid,
Yeah.
possibly.
What? I thought
Yeah.
moringa was a flower.
So moringa
That shows
is
you how
a
I mean, it sounds like a flower.
it sounds like a
does
flower,
sound like a pretty flower.
but it's the leaves which are actually something which are now taking momentum. But if you see that long drumstick,
Yeah.
that is moringa.
Nice.
Oh.
So
You're
that is
joking.
something that we've
See,
been
My
Good
kids
for
eating.
you.
love
Exactly.
Nice.
And it's so good, Your nuts, your seeds, all of these are superfoods. We don't really need to look at things like, a lot of parents keep asking me, what are these spirulina powders and acai powders? And I was like, I just look at them like, no. Why? And I'm like, because you don't need them.
I love that. answer.
Why? And I was like, just because you're eating it, and just because you see someone else giving it to their child, and I'm sorry, but I'm gonna do a little myth buster here. It's like, if you pay me to promote a particular food,
You
I
will.
may or may not. I mean, I am very conscious that way, but
but
what I mean
But a
is, you
lot of
pay
people
someone
will.
exactly.
Yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of people. If I have to say that, a lot of people will, you pay them and they'll promote. I mean, what are we trying to do here?
Yeah.
We are not looking at what is there. All these gummies that are coming up in the market and stuff, they're
Yeah.
not superfoods, guys. I have parents calling me, my child has cold and cough. Can I give dahi? Hell yes, you can give dahi. Put some put some dahi, like room temperature dahi, and put some jeera powder on top of it. Your child is never going to have any problems. No cold cough. The problem is people look at vitamin C, dahi as, causing cold and cough, whereas they are great for cold and cough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Right?
mom-in-law used to say, like, have a teaspoon of lime juice. And I would feel like, oh, but the lime will catch the kid's throat. But it's pure vitamin C, right?
Exactly.
So what are these other, like, traditional things that we've forgotten, which, general Indian practices which are good and useful?
So that's what. So again, building in all of these foods, like giving dahi with jeera powder on top, adding in ghee to their food, the golden trio, like I mentioned, haldi and pepper and honey, give that. These are things which are the golden, are the traditional age-old remedies. Ginger, garlic, ginger juice and honey is something which is so good. Like, all those cough lunges and all that you get
It's
these days, it's
yeah.
ginger and honey only,
Yeah.
plus
Yeah.
added honey, which is too much of sugar. But if you just make that and just give that every day in the morning when your child has a cough, it's great.
Yeah.
Mustard oil, garlic, apply that on the chest of the baby, on the feet, on the sole of their feet. Those act like great, remedies as well. Just not food always, but if you look at all of these combined together, cooking in mustard oil really helps when they have cold and cough. Seasonal changes, especially when it's a little cold. Seasonal food is something that we often forget, like
Yeah.
sweet potatoes. They're ideally a winter
Winter vegetable.
vegetable, right? Similarly, the reason why we talk about certain foods like bajra is a winter grain and jawar is a summer grain. Ragi, on the other hand, is very neutral. So you got to just be a little mindful and look at seasonal eating and focus on seasonal fruits and vegetables rather than looking at, adding these powders, spirulina powders and etc. powders. Beetroot as a powder, people are okay with adding it. But pairing beetroot and lime, that's the best source of your vitamin C
Yeah.
and getting iron as well. So, these things are something which overall help build immunity. And there's no one food, every time a child falls sick, I have parents like, can you tell us that one food? There's no one food. You need the fat, you need the protein, you need the vitamins. It's not going to just happen, right? And again, fats, when we're looking at bananas, are the best source of fat. Your small elchi banana is a game changer and such a great source of potassium as well.
Yeah.
Your coconut water, like people say, nariyal pani nahi dena chahiye. Why not? It's adding so much hydration because anyway, when a child is unwell, they don't want to eat. So are we focusing enough on hydration? We only look at hydration in the form of milk, but milk is really not helping them. Today, pediatricians talk about, not and eliminating milk as a part of children's diet, especially when they have recurrent cold and cough.
Why, bud?
Because milk is not something which is the way we got it at our times. I can say that because cows today, whichever brand, A2 is just a fad. Given the
Yeah,
population
it's
of this
humpy.
country, cows are injected. So the hormones are not suiting us. The milk proteins are not good for the throat.
Oh.
You
So-
know, this is very interesting because we actually have a whole bunch of quick rapid fire myth bustings that we're
Yes.
going to ask you, and we want answers. Kids need milk for strong bones.
It's a myth. It's
Okay.
a very big myth. Okay. They need calcium and vitamin D, and there are way better sources of calcium and vitamin D. Ragi and sesame seeds are something that you can look at specifically for calcium.
Yeah, my pediatrician told me this. If you want to get calcium in, if your kids are not drinking milk, you just ground up the sesame seeds into a powder and mix it with their dahi.
Tahini is such a great
Yeah,
source.
tahini.
Just
tahini.
give tahini
So-
as is. It's
Okay,
great.
milk is a meal replacement.
It's killing them. It's killing their appetite for a meal.
My children love milk.
I see parents like they shove milk down the kid's
Exactly.
throat.
Oh,
It's like,
that
the
way.
kid doesn't want
Exactly.
milk and you're like, no, drink it because they're obsessive
Yeah.
about it.
That's
Because-
where, so there's a cap on milk for children. There's a 400 ml
ML,
cap.
yeah.
So it's 400 ml a day, including dahi, paneer and cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
So if you're-
dairy, basically.
Yes, for dairy.
Yeah.
So
But because
basically,
kids are Punjabi.
sorry.
It's like a separate limit for them. Because,
It's like a Patiala pig.
I've never seen so much milk and milk products in my life and milk mustaches.
No, but see, milk actually is just filling them up. It's
Yeah.
not doing anything else but filling them up. So if your kids are having it and still having food, well, then that's fine.
Okay.
But if you're just going to shove milk, like Hina said, just purposely give them milk. I'm sure she gets that as well, right? Can you give them milk before sleep?
Yeah.
That's why.
It's not needed. I mean, dinner is the last meal. You
Correct.
don't really
You don't
need
need
milk
anything after
after that.
Okay.
Okay.
Weaning. Dal ka pani is like I know, I love that you make that face.
Ugh. When I was writing that question, I was like, no. You can, if you want to start with dals first, yes, you can. There's no harm. But look at whole dal. The dal ka pani has no nutrition. Children need, again, I'm going a little detailed here, but children need to be given thicker foods for them to learn to chew. They're not just going to gulp food down their throat. So if you want to really start off with dal ka pani, then no. Please do mashed dals instead.
All right. Okay. So, eating the same thing every day, is it a phase or are you forever doomed?
It's a phase. It's fine if they're doing it.
Mm.
Slowly and gradually start pairing things up with it. So, children, specifically toddlers below the age of, 3, they go through this phase. And it can happen after 3 as well. But they go through this phase where they only want white foods.
Yes.
Yeah. So now what we do is, okay, eat the egg, eat the dosa, eat the rice. Slowly, gradually add some, flaxseed powder on top of your rice or some coconut in your dosa. So again, that's white. flaxseed they won't see as much. So pairing it with the right food slowly and gradually is okay. But yes, it is a phase.
Kids need to finish everything on their plate.
No, never. You need to focus on the quality of the meal over the quantity of the meal. Serve smaller portions. Let them understand their hunger. Trust them so that they build the right association with food as well.
Are you hearing that, Mom?
Sugar makes your kids hyperactive.
I can
Well-
attest to this with my younger one.
So, like I said, yeah, it's more of a myth. It's also about the environment. It's also about what you're giving, when you're giving. We specifically say that, yes, it does make them hyperactive. Hence, I wouldn't say it's a complete myth. But if you give it at the right time, it's fine. If you give it to them first thing in the morning, there's going
Yeah.
to be a spike in blood sugar and they're going to act crazy through the day. If you're going to give them last thing in the night before sleeping and
They're not
after
gonna sleep.
dinner, then God bless you with
Yeah, I
the
was
sleep
just gonna
cycle.
say.
So
expect wake ups.
Yeah.
yes, expect wake ups, expect them sleeping late. So again, it is a myth. It's also true to a certain extent in the sense that if you give it at the right time, it's okay. And then they're burning that sugar off through activities, it's fine. But otherwise, it's something which you can give them. It's not like I said, it's not evil. It's something that you yourself have to be mindful about. As adults, we are not mindful about it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We always go reach out for an ice cream tub or whatever else.
Yes. Many of us go to the kitchen at night and eat chocolate that's hidden
Or
away.
in the bathroom.
But I've seen this with my younger one. I've seen him. He can eat a little bit, and then he just goes.
Because it's
It
spiking up
really
the blood
affects him.
sugar
It's like
levels,
this
right?
tiny little person has eaten this bit of chocolate, obviously disproportionate
This
to
bit
his
is a
body
lot.
size.
This is
He's
Now-
eaten just this much of chocolate.
just this itna.
Itna hi hai.
So, again, like I said, giving it to them at the right time and then helping them burn it out is
Yeah.
essential, right? If you do that, then there's no problem.
Okay.
So you take them to a play zone and let them run it out.
Play zones are in the grass, in the field,
In the
like,
grass.
in a garden, basically, an open space.
I'm just saying play zone because it's rainy
Huh.
now.
Okay. Organic is always better.
Local and seasonal is always better.
White potatoes are unhealthy.
They're not, I have my own thing about it. So in general, it's a bad carb. It's a myth. They're nutritious if they are well cooked. Now, if you're going to make French fries out of it on a daily basis and give it, then it's bad.
Okay.
But if you build it in the right way, like if you're doing it like, in fact, mashed potatoes with cheese and garlic. Oh my
Oh.
God.
Oh.
That's amazing,
It's
right?
lunchtime, guys.
So what I'm trying to say is cook it in the right way. Don't use it as French fries. If you're
Yeah.
making a tikki and adding other vegetables and adding, oats to it to bind it, it makes like a good food. Pair it up with a soup, pair it up with a dal. That's great. But don't give it like French fries. Then it's bad.
But you can fry Karela.
Yeah. I'm saying you can fry potatoes as well, but not only as French fries.
Screens and meals lead to adult obesity.
Yes.
What?
Because you're mindlessly eating. You're not focusing on what you're eating. You're simply sitting and just eating, not knowing what you're eating,
Yeah.
not paying attention to what you're eating. It's just going on.
You have cracked the code of why I am chubby. Cracked it.
Carbs are bad for kids.
No, they're much needed for kids. There are good carbs, there are bad carbs. Again, look at it as something which supports the protein requirement as well. You only can't give protein. Carbs have to support that.
Yeah, I think we're
I
done.
think these are our myth busting.
Yeah.
Hope all of you have learned so much that we've learned today with you, Divisha.
I feel like a very clever person.
I
right now.
feel like I need to go
I
do
feel
like some
meals this
psychology
week are gonna be
lesson on
amazing.
raising children and feeding children and everything to do around food. But can you please have your own like AI version of
I'm planning on creating one. I'll speak to ChatGPT and get back. So,
So I think the biggest takeaway that I have taken away from this entire episode is that I need to educate myself on what food is doing what for the child and then
Exactly.
educating her.
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. And that is what we need to do.
And that
you
is the main crux of everything. And I think like empowering them with that knowledge
The
is
knowledge. Yeah.
going to be a game changer for them and for us.
Yes. So I want to end up by saying that, food isn't just about nutrients. It's a whole lot more. It's culture, it's connection, it's joy. Okay. Let's help our kids grow up with a healthy relationship with their plates and what's on their plates, and then you will actually start seeing the difference. It is what is required today, rather than following fads. Like a lot of nutritionists, adult nutritionists also say, what we eat is how we perceive ourselves and how we perceive our relationship and association with food. And that's what we need to do right with our kids. Because while our kids, as I mentioned, are Generation Alphas, we belong to a generation who are trying to heal themselves in a lot of ways, right? And food is one thing which can help you do that if done the right way.
Amazing.
Lovely.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, you couldn't
You couldn't have
have
said it better.
Summed it
said
up
it better, summed it up better.
Yes.
I mean, we're so, so, so grateful that you've taken time out to come and chat with us and chat with our listeners today. We'll put in some book recommendations as well. We put on in our description all of your contact information
For sure.
so people can reach out to Divisha.
Thank you so much, I think, for having me. It was great. And I finally get to meet you as well.
Yes,
It's
yes.
been- yeah, we've been speaking so much. And,
Yeah.
every time I had something to do with me, I'm like, Hina, can you please help? But yes, thank you for having me. And I hope there's enough and more knowledge that you've all got. Change your relationship with food, change the way that you look at it for your kids, and you will see the difference. Thank you so much once again for having me.
Thank you.
Thank
Let's go
you.
order some
Thank
food now.
you.
Stop
And
it.
get her nut butters, guys. They're
Oh.
absolutely
I was
Absolutely
going to get
delicious.
today, but then I realized that I didn't have any stock at all. So I was just
Horrible.
like,
We're sending you home to get some more.
I'll send it across. I'll send it to your residence and you
No,
can
we'll
pass
order
it to you.
some. We'll order some.
That's okay.
Correct.
Okay, so thank you, Divisha, again. And thanks, everyone. That's a wrap from us today. We hope that you tune in next week.
And like, share, subscribe.